Final Fantasy VII. We had the 25th anniversary showcase, and Square Enix gave us some massive updates around Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 and another completely unexpected remake. So they showed the first trailer for Part 2, which is now called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It'll be coming to PlayStation 5 next winter for the US. So what timing is that for us?
Why do you think I just wrote that?
Summer for us in... Wait.
I'm like, I can't be bothered figuring this out. It's very late. I'm just going to write that.
Okay, so it's 6 months away-ish.
No, I believe it's not talking about this winter. I think it's talking next winter.
Oh, wow. That's a huge gap.
That was my understanding, but I could be wrong.
Well, it's summer right now, so next winter.
But that's what I'm thinking, like, not the upcoming. It's that was my take. But
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so like towards
the end of the year.
End of next year.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Yeah, so the end of 2023. Fuck this, like, seasonal shit.
I know, I'm so over it. Just say Q1, so Q2. Come on,
or late. Just say mid or late or early.
Mid, late. That's it.
They miss these dates all the time anyway. So they should just say ballpark, end of 2023.
Maybe they do this because then they can say, oh, no, we meant next is next year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
So they also confirmed that the remake series is now a trilogy. And Rebirth will still make sense if people begin at that entry. And
gotta have a damn hell of a recap.
That's a good recap. That's a good recap. And Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is now also available on Steam. And 6 months. That was 6 months after the Epic Game Store launch. I'm actually like pretty hyped about this, to be honest. I'm hyped that it's a trilogy. It looks like they've gone pretty hard, and it looks like it's going in a bit of a different direction to the original Final Fantasy VII. But how are you feeling about it, Swinny?
So the fact that they're going in a different direction means they've got a lot of leeway now to not have to do everything that the original game did.
Yeah.
So if they want to skip sections that maybe people don't, then not everyone's favorite section, they can just say, well, it wasn't part of this new direction they'll go in with the story. And because the question was always, how the hell are they going to replicate the amount of locations and story beats that all the games have in, like, when the whole first game was just Midgar. I think that it's very easy to do that with a new direction. And I think the title is fantastic. I'm so glad they didn't call it Remake Part 2. I think
it's mad.
Is a great one. And they already used the reunion title for the game we're about to talk about, but I would have probably called the third one Reunion. But we'll see what they call the third one eventually. So,
well, let's
Rethird.
Let's speculate. Let's speculate. Well, like, what do you think the chances? What do you reckon they're going to call it, the third one?
I don't know. It has to have an R. It has to start with an R, doesn't it?
Oh, no, it's going to be RE for sure, right? I mean, it's very Square if they don't do that, actually. They go remake, rebirth, and then they just say something else.
It's probably going to be a word that doesn't exist, like, what was
retard?
Whoa.
Like
revengeance, like...
I had a good one before.
Yes.
Revengeance isn't a real word?
Revengeance is not a real word.
No. Oh, okay.
When have you ever heard the word revengeance outside of Metal Gear Solid Rising?
Maybe I'm gonna say
Metal Gear Rising.
Reform. Yeah.
I don't know. You put us on, like, I would have actually had like a brainstorming session before the show.
I have no idea.
But Reunion would have been perfect.
Reunion's not bad.
They can't use that now, so
that's not bad. And also, hey, this is the middle part of the trilogy, so this is the Empire Strikes Back, right? This is where they can go super dark. I don't know, man. I'm hyped about this.
Look, I think the middle part of Final Fantasy VII is pretty damn solid. So that makes sense to me that this might be a strong entry. But I say there's someone that still hasn't played the first one. I'm likely going to wait until all these games are out to play them.
Or when they come to Game Pass.
That's what I said when the first one came out. I'm just going to wait till the trilogy comes out, and I'm just going to buy all three at once.
But obviously, I still have hope that they will eventually chuck them on Xbox. It seems unlikely at this point, but who knows? Who knows in the future?
It's on PC, so who knows?
Well, yeah, the way it's all working, it feels like they will come to Xbox eventually. It's just how long you get to wait, right?
Yeah, just given outside of the online titles, like the fact that all recent Final Fantasy games have generally been on Xbox, and we'll talk about one in a second that's also on Xbox. It's like it's just weird. It's obviously the relationship with Sony and some good money there, but
Well, I think Final Fantasy 7, and I actually think this is very good marketing from a PlayStation brand perspective. Final Fantasy 7 is so linked to the PlayStation brand, like 7 itself, right?
Yeah.
Like even the story about it going from 64 to PlayStation, everything like that. So I think like them paying extra to lock it in, even as a console exclusive, timed exclusive, to me is just like a genius move. Like that's worth the money. Like, and it doesn't seem like they're paying that much for it potentially, but yeah, it might be after the third one comes out, like maybe 18 months after the third one comes out on Xbox.
well, they said they've started some production on number 3 already. So
Interesting, but that surely that's going to be like 4 or 5 years away.
I have no idea.
Or
Well,
even
given
longer,
given
right?
this one is
End of next
still a
year.
year and a half away or
Yeah,
something. So
yeah, it could be like 6 years away. But I'm glad that they did that because the first game they went so crazy with it that I'm so glad that they didn't just drop the ball and go, shit, this is like too much. Like, let's just make one more. Like, 3 seems perfect to me. So, and let's talk about the other announcement that we want to talk about, which is Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which would have been a good title for
yeah.
the last one. So it's a complete visual overhaul of the 2007 PSP spin-off with full voice acting and new musical arrangements coming Q1 23 on all platforms.
Yeah, this was. There were some people saying that this apparently had some rumors this was happening. I had no idea.
I had no idea.
And I never had a PSP, never got a chance to try Crisis Core. It is actually well regarded.
Pretty good game, yeah. Played it.
Yeah, and like what they've done graphically is crazy. Like I don't know for sure, but it looks like it's running on the bloody same engine as Remake because it's like the models. all
Oh,
look
I
the
don't reckon
same
it's
and
good as that.
It's not quite as good.
Yeah.
But like it's
It looks good. Don't get me wrong.
it's
It
like
doesn't look
just
that
like
level, though.
I don't know, like that. What if they? It's clearly not the original engine. This is basically like a Demon
yeah,
Souls
of course.
approach, because it seems like battle system wise and voice, like even the voice lines in the cutscenes, like it's all like a 1-to-1. It's just a complete visual overhaul in that way. But I think this is awesome, and I'll finally get a chance to try Crisis Core. So
Yeah, it's an important part of the story as well. So, no, it's really cool. I saw this on Switch because, I subscribe to a lot of Switch channels and things like that, and it was popping off, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's really weird how they're releasing this. Really confused on what they're releasing and not releasing on the Switch these days. But it does feel like the Steam Deck is becoming now the platform of choice to show off. Like even, I know we've already passed a bit, with Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, they specifically are like, hey, it's playable on the Steam Deck. Like that thing is getting so much traction. It's insane. I can't wait to get some pre-order in Australia in 2 years from now, Mike.
If that.
You reckon it's going to be longer than that?
I don't know. I'm super pumped to get it. I really, really am. It's probably going to be version 2 or 3 by then. So by the time we get anything,
Nah, Valve doesn't iterate those things that much. So
we'll see.
all right, let's get into something that Swinny was a bit excited about.